Hello, everybody. Welcome to KirinoCast. Today, I have a incredible data analyst here with me, Andres Porto, a Colombian guy who left Colombia to come to Australia um, and start his life from scratch, pursue his dreams, and he's gonna talk us through about his journey, how it's been going, what he has done since day one up to now. Andres, I would like you to talk a little bit about yourself. Who are you? Let us know, and also talk to us a little bit of what you have done. A brief summary of day one up to today.
Wow, that's thank you very much. First, before we actually begin, thank you, Leandro, for having me on your podcast. I feel very pleased and honored that you having me here. I feel like very proud of you and everything that you have achieved. So I think it's great to have this opportunity to be chatting about live. And regarding the question, who am I? I think that's a big question. I'll,
Well,
I'll
thanks for being here.
Yeah, I'll start by my name. So my name is Andres Puerto from Colombia. I'm 30 years old, and I've been living in Sydney for the past 7 years. In 70 years of this journey, it's something that I don't regret. It's something that I actually love. It's been a really nice journey from the beginning. Obviously, it haven't hasn't been easy because everything that is worth it takes time and takes sacrifice as well. So I came here when I was 23 and I was working on a marketing company in Colombia. And I was working from the age of 17. So I was working and doing uni at the same time back then in Colombia. So from 17 to 21, I did uni and I worked as a marketing assistant back then when I started. And at the end of the uni, I was an executive, an account executive. So I was like having clients and meeting with clients, and it was a marketing agency dedicated to technology companies like Intel, Red Hat, Hewlett Packard, Apple, and so others in Colombia. So I was like loving this marketing tech environment where I was learning a lot, not only about marketing, but about the way the world was going tech wise. When I decided to come to Australia, so I was 23. I felt like I needed to have a new experience. Obviously, I loved my job and I was traveling around Colombia doing some like marketing campaigns and events, but I needed something new. You know, you feel when you don't feel fulfilled anymore doing what you're doing. And
Yeah.
my brother, who was living in Sydney at that time, he was like a year earlier than when I came. He said to me like, "Come to Australia, come to learn some English." And I said like, "Probably I'll come for 6 months. That's fine." He actually paid my ticket. Like I wasn't really interested, but I said, "Okay, let's do it." He actually paid my ticket and like helped me quite a lot when I came here. Um, then I came here to study English, and I wasn't very diligent when it came to studies and to academic studies in Colombia. So I knew the colors, the days of the week, and that's it. That was the only English at that time. So it was a real struggle to came here, not communicating, feeling frustration because you feel that you're working in a good company in Colombia, you having like good experiences, and then you come here to start from scratch, which is very difficult for I think many of us. We just need to come here and start from zero, learning the language, babbling, mumbling. Oh, that was hard. I remember that I started working in a restaurant, like as a kitchen hand, doing some waiters jobs and many jobs that we all international students did to go through our path. Now, back then, I decided to change my job. I was getting good money, but I felt like I wasn't learning English anymore, and that was my main goal: to learn English, to be fluent at the language, and that was the only thing I could think about at the time. So I was in a job that was paying me like $29 an hour, and I
Yeah.
quit the job and I went to a cafe restaurant to get $18 an hour only. And all my friends and my families are like, "Why are you quitting the job? Like it's paying you well, you're saving money, you're sending money to Colombia." I was like, that's a dumb decision. And then I did it because I knew that I needed to push myself further. I needed to learn English. So I went to a job which I didn't have the skills. And I was struggling when I came to this cafe job. Like I remember taking orders and I was like freaking out because I didn't understand anything at that time. And like I was making mistakes, clients were upset, but I took that as a challenge. And I knew that in order to learn, I need to be uncomfortable. That's
Yeah.
that's the place where you grow. So I said, okay, I'm gonna take this journey. I'm gonna accept that uncomfortability is the place where I grow, and I took the job. After that, I remember that I was a little bit frustrated because I was used to doing marketing and plans and using my mind to create new things. So I say to the
Yeah.
cafe owner, you know what? I'm doing this waiter's job, I'm doing this cashier and barista job, but I want to do something more. So after my hours, I'm gonna do some marketing plans for this company, for this little cafe in Bondi, in near to Bondi Beach. So I started doing some marketing plans, launching new promotions, like cafe with like the cupcake of the week, and inviting people and doing some kind of little events. And the owner love it because we're getting more clients, we're getting more revenue, we're getting more money through the door every single day. And he also owned a bookshop, which is called Dimox. It's a franchise, a very famous franchise in Australia, Dimox
Okay.
Bookshop. And he said to
Yeah.
me like, I want you to come here to work with me, doing some marketing plans as well for this company because I want it to grow. I want to drive more sales to the business. And I said to him like I'm learning English. I've been only here for a year and a half. I don't have the skills to work in this, but I'll take it. I'll take it. Like I'll learn quick. Like I'm a quick learner. I can do it.
Yeah.
And I always say yes to everything, even if I don't know. So I said, yes, let's do it. Let's do it. And he said, like, I trust you. You will improve your English. And I remember when I started doing this job, and it was really hard because I didn't understand anything about the books. Imagine like local people came to us about the fairy tale of this specific book that I didn't understand the language. Everything that I was saying to the clients was, oh no, sorry, we don't have it in the system. Because I didn't. So the business was actually losing money for me. It was
Yeah.
losing money because I didn't have the skills. But after that, I started training myself every single day. After I finished work, I was studying English. I was listening to podcasts. I was like watching documentaries about like English, the English language, so I could get better at it. And I think that's the attitude that I needed to take at a time. And I
Exactly.
worked in that business for like 8 months. So we did
Eight
some
months.
events. We invite authors to sign up books at the bookstore. It was great.
Okay. When you working there, were you running Facebook ads and Google ads, or what type of marketing were you doing there?
Yes, so I missed that part. Yes, we were doing some Facebook ads in the coffee shop and in the bookshop as well.
Only
Some Google,
Facebook, not Google.
yeah, Google and Facebook ads.
Google and Facebook ads. And which one did you have more results?
I think Facebook for the coffee shop because it was in Bondi. It was like the target of the people is like more between 20 to 35, 20 to 40. The bookshop it was like a little bit in a suburb that it was a little bit more elderly people. So we were taking different strategies as well. And
Okay.
also, I also believe I love digital marketing, but I am aware of the importance of the face-to-face marketing as well. Like we needed to drive clients and we needed to know the community because we were a small business part of a community, so we needed to belong
Yeah.
to that community and then make people feel welcome to that business.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Good.
yeah, and after that, I needed to change my career again. I feel bored when I'm not learning, so I felt that I was doing pretty good at this job. I was like I knew like I learned more the language. I got better at it. I could understand all the clients. I have good relationships with them. I was actually, and I love that part of my life, part of my process because that created me the desire to read, the desire
Okay.
for curiosity, to learn, to understand that everyone has had many issues in life, and every response could be in one of the books you read. So one of the responses, one of the issues that you have inside, one of the questions that you have in your mind, somebody has already responded to that in a book. So
Yeah.
you are only one book away from finding your path.
Right.
That's what I believe.
And
um,
which books did you read?
Business books at that time. I was in love with Gary Vee, and so Crushing It was one of the books that I read twice, and I love that book because it was like driving me this desire to go for more, to push
Crushing
myself.
It.
Yeah, Crushing It. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you read it as well? Yes.
I have the book here, but I haven't read. I did finish Crush It, which was the first book, and Jab 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 Right Hook.
Oh, that's
Uh, and he was here in Melbourne, I think 2 3 months ago, and I went to his event. It was just unbelievable seeing him there, watching him, the way he speak, the way he said about being patient on your journey. Because he mentioned when he started, and he had pretty much 4 years of hard work and nothing coming up at all. So he was earning $0, and in 4 years of work of posting content, he went to zero to, well, the rest is story.
Definitely, and I think that's what I have adopted, and something that I love about this era that we live in now. I think we are the luckiest, because we have technology and we have the opportunity to learn from people that we don't even know. Like we have the
Yeah,
chance to go to YouTube and learn from these gurus like Gary Vee. And I
yeah,
think I took this approach and I decided to take it, like short term speed and doing all my hustle, but in the
yeah.
long term, I'm very patient with myself. Like I know that
Yeah,
it takes.
that's one thing that, like, if you, I'm pretty sure that you follow him on social media, and if you do, and if you read his books, he always says, short term plan is a trap. Go for long term and be patient, and just put the hours in, and get the work done, and get the big picture, break it into small, and do your PDCA, right? Plan, do, correct, and act. And
Yes.
keep doing it over and over again, over and over again. When you look at small tasks and you accomplish them, it's way better than when you look at the big picture and then you feel overwhelmed, because there is a lot to do if you are doing anything by yourself, like he did. He was posting everything on Twitter, on YouTube, on Instagram, everything by himself, and sending mails, doing the Google Ads, Facebook Ads, everything by himself. And there was like, and he was working for his family. And not only that, he raised the business of his family. For, I think there was worth a couple of $1,000, and it went to million, like a couple of $1 million, until he actually left and decided to do everything by himself. So yeah,
Yeah.
be patient.
Yeah. I think he took his family business from 3 millions to 60 millions or something like that. And it was
Yeah,
insane. Like he left the
it
business,
was.
just
Yeah,
walk away, build the business of his family, and start from scratch again. So I think that
exactly.
that is the mindset that I wanted to install in my mind at a time, that I need to hustle, 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 and then see the results afterward. See the results and be patient to see the results. So I quit the job because I felt like I wasn't learning anymore. And then one opportunity came across, which was working for a migration and a student agency called Direction Australia. So I went
Okay.
there, lived to that company. I worked there for like 1.5, almost 2 years. And the great thing is, I wasn't part of my like Colombian Latin community because I was only focused on like clients from Australia, on the cafe business, and on the bookstore business. And now that I needed to approach a little bit more different sales strategy, because I needed to talk to students and they need to give them advice on what to study, and obviously selling these courses that the agency sells. So I started a new journey of learning how to target students, to talk to students, how to build relationships with them, create trust, And it was hard for me. I remember that the first 2 months, I think I barely made a sale, and it was hard for me. Like I was feeling frustration and disappointing because like I knew how to sell, but I just needed to kind of tweak some things inside myself and approach the students in a different way. And I loved it because again, I love learning, and I was learning how to sell. I was learning how to connect to people. I was learning how to relate to people, how to communicate, and establish a real connection, a truthful connection, that not only as an exchange of a business, but of building some relationship not long term. Um, it's funny because I was in an event yesterday and I met some of the students that I met at a time like 3 4 years ago, and we
Like
still
me.
yeah, when we still have really good friendships came from that
Yeah.
part of life. So I think I'm grateful for that. And something that I saw is students coming to Australia full of dreams, but mostly from South America, students were struggling because in terms of the language, because we don't come with the very high English skills. I think. What
Look,
experience on that?
Look, I will just add something here. You mentioned about South American students, but in these 4 years that I've been here, I've seen students from everywhere. like in the beginning of the journey, and they do not only come from South America. They come from Europe. They come from China. They come from anywhere in the world to start from scratch. Only the ones who come from India, they already come with the English up there,
Like,
because they start learning since they're really young. But everybody from everywhere in the world, they come here, and they need to
yeah,
go
some of
to English school to learn about the colors and foods and everything, and then they go to the work environment. Then it's well, for me it was a shock, because what you learn in the books in school, it's completely different
yes,
from
you
what
can
you're gonna learn in
live
in
in
real
real
life.
life.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I think that's what this experience called Australia is magic, because you
Yeah,
get the academic component, but you need to get the structure, but you also
yeah,
go out to the real life, to the real world, and you need to, hustle as well, learn, make
yeah,
connections, friendships, and improve your language. So I think
exactly.
it's great, and it is so good because we all can relate to the same journey, because everyone is going through the same journey, no matter
Many,
what,
yeah, many of
matter
us.
no matter what your age is, we all go through the same journey, which is a beautiful journey.
Yeah, I remember when I think when I was in English school back then, um we had students who were 18. They had just left high school, and we had students who were, I don't know, 25, 30, who had just finished university, and they decided to come here to learn English, and instead of work in their countries, they wanted to work somewhere else because it was going to be way more challenge.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
the word. That's the word
yeah,
challenge, and that's the word
yeah.
that I like. And
Challenge.
challenge and opportunity are related, very related. So I remember the challenges that students were facing when I was working in this student agency, and I realized that it was difficult for students to find jobs when they didn't have the English skills. And I
Yeah, well,
remember that
if
I
you
used
can't communicate, it's gonna be hard.
difficult. So what are the jobs that you can do when you are a student, when you have the English skills, and we're just a new student in Australia? And some of them are like a cleaner's job, or sometimes like in events jobs, or obviously delivery rider jobs. And I remember that I saw one of my friends rent a bike in a new company, but at a time that was called like Sumo. And I say, oh, that's like a good business modeling. Like students coming here, and then I had planned a trip to China at a time. I said, I'm gonna go to the Canton Fair, which is a big fair, like 4 weeks, different industries, and massive infrastructure. And I went there and I said, I wanna establish a business. Like I saw an opportunity, which is students are struggling to get a job, and there's a potential opportunity to rent or sell e-bikes in Australia, which is like really popular for students or like migrants to do delivery jobs. And then when I was working in the agency, I also started a master degree, and I started this journey of creating a new business. So I went to China. I went to the week where all the sports and bikes and e-bikes were happening, and I make some
Yeah,
good connections,
yeah,
suppliers, about them, about like battery lives and components of the bikes, and making really
yeah.
good connections there. And when I came back to Australia, I met one person who do like that's all the imports, and he has a brand, like an e-bike brand here in Australia, who became my supplier, and then he became my friend, because he
Okay,
was he was he was very, very eager to help me to build a business. Like he wanted me to succeed. He believed in me, and he said like, I see potential in you, so I want to help you. So I started buying one bike and renting it to a student that I was meeting in this migration and educational agency. And then the business just like naturally start taking off. And I'm just getting two bikes, three bikes, and all the money that I was earning from this job, I will just put it into the business. Like I say, I believe in this business, and I'm gonna put all my money, everything that I have, to make it happen. So
okay.
time was passing, and I was getting more bikes, and I was getting more clients. I was getting more busy as well, because the job, the master, and then after 6 months, I felt like I was gonna lose it. Like I was doing the master degree, which was math. I was doing this job, which was like a full-time job, and then I was running the business on the side. So I made a
Okay.
decision, and I quit the job, and I say, I want to focus on building this business, which is giving me more money than what the job was giving me at the time. So I say, now this is a good point to leave the company because the business is making more money. And I think that's a good
Okay.
thing from Gary Vee. He mentioned that if you have a side hustle, wait until you make more money and then you can live, freely live and dedicate that to yourself. So I did
Yeah.
that. I started doing the business more often, getting more bikes, more bikes, more bikes. I decided to set the business up properly. So I created an Australian company. I hired a lawyer to help me with that, an accountant to help me with that. So we created this new company, new bank account, and then I was running the business kind of digitally. Like I didn't need a physical place. I could use my suppliers place. I could use my house as my storage,
Yeah.
and my friends' houses as storage. So I was kind of wrestling with this business and trying to understand how to operate it and how to learn from it. So I ran the business for 2 years. I just dedicate myself to run it, to grow, and I make a lot of mistakes. And I think I was doing a solo journey. I make a lot of
Okay.
mistakes. Like I just didn't integrate anybody into my business to make it grow. And somehow, like, it is good for one person to run a business, but I think if you are a group of people, or at least two, you can go further
You
because
can.
think more, right?
Many
So I
heads think better than one.
exactly. So I think I made quite a few mistakes which I learned from, and I love making mistakes because I can
Do
learn from
you
them.
do you still have this business?
Well, I closed the business, the official business. I closed it when
Yeah.
COVID hit because
Yeah.
my clients were international students. I was
Yeah.
relying on international students, and with COVID hit, there's no
Yeah.
more students coming to Australia. So I left the bike business, and I decided to do something new. And I needed to kind of realign my life and realign my purpose because I needed to focus on my visa migration purpose. So journey. So, but back to your question. I think it was at the beginning of this year. I have still clients asking me for bikes. That happened like 4 years ago, and I had
Yeah.
still clients asking me for bikes. So I say, you know what? Let's just start the business again. So I started the business again this year. I still meet with clients that I met 4 years ago, and I still do business. I still sell bikes and rent bikes. I give installments for the bikes as well. So I think it's been a great opportunity, great
There is a
experience.
saying that says, ask now, invite your client to be your friend, but don't invite your friend to be your client, right?
But actually, no. I would differ from that saying because my first client was my best friend.
Okay.
When it was first initial, like first bike, the initial bike, it was my best friend who needed a bike and he rented from me. And it was like an old cranky bike. It wasn't that good at that time. So I was
Yeah.
getting new bikes and getting better bikes. But that from day one, he was like one of my supporters. So I think I love surrounding myself with people that believe in myself.
Okay, that's good. That's a good thing. I mentioned that saying because I had a side hustle back home, back in Brazil, which was properties, right?
Oh yeah.
And back there, I was renting a house to a friend of mine who I knew, I don't know, since high school, actually kindergarten before high school, and we had so many troubles. Damn, I wish I didn't. I think that if I had rented the house to a client instead of a friend, I would have had not as many problems.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that happens, and that is part of business, right? You
yeah, that
just
is part of business.
gotta learn how to handle those curveballs.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. And one thing, like from day one in your business to until I don't know months ago, how many bikes did you have from
Well,
bike one
I
to
think in the peak, I started with one bike, two bikes, and I think in the peak I had like 60 bikes.
60?
Yeah,
60 bikes?
yeah.
Everything in your apartment?
Well, it was full. You can imagine how the living room was. It was like
I can.
storage. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I'm going to mention that it wasn't only my business. I
yeah.
invited my mother, who was in Colombia. I
Okay.
invited my brother
Yeah.
and friend. So they were like I didn't want to grow myself only. I wanted my
Okay.
people to grow as well. So
Nice.
I say to them, you're gonna put some money and you're gonna get it back. That's an
Okay.
investment.
Yeah.
And so we'll co-work together, cooperate to make it succeed. So it was great to help my mom to do an investment, get some money back, and she still has those savings. So I think
Okay.
that's a good part of the story as well. That I didn't only do it by myself, but I also can invite my family to enjoy the journey with me.
And how was your experience of having your family as investors in your business?
I think it was great because I was the one managing it.
So they were
Um,
not giving any opinion, so they were just putting the
it is
money in.
purely financial investment.
Okay.
So, but I should have taken more advice from them though.
Why?
Like it. Yes, I should have done it, and that's one of the learnings because I thought like I am the one who knows how to run the business. Like nobody should tell me how to do it, and it was just dumb. Like I should have listened more. I should have integrated more ideas and do more things. But I I I believe that that was the way that happened because I needed to learn. And when I
Okay.
have my next business, I know what things not to do.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and
And
yep.
pardon, no, go.
Talking about the new business, I
Oh,
want to
good.
relate. I want to relate this. Like I still have this as a side hustle, but I want
Yeah.
to relate this to something that happened from uni. So when I finished my master, I did my master in business information systems, and I want to mention that I got a scholarship from this uni. So I had like 50% scholarship, which was great. It's a phenomenal deal. And I did my master in business information systems, and I wanted to be a good student. Like I wanted to be the best students to get all the good grades. And I love technology. So I remember that last trimester, I had a one of the subjects was kind of data analysis and database.
Okay.
This professor was very very inspiring. Actually, he wrote a book because he has an award as the entrepreneur of the year 2010. He is from
Oh.
India. He created a solar company, like a solar panel company, and in Australia and India, and he had a book about the journey. So he was a very inspiring person to me. And as I embraced this journey of technology and my life, and I was going through personal situations as well, and I always been believer in mental health. So I love mental health. I love therapy. I believe
Yeah.
that this is crucial for humanity to heal and to have like a better life experience. So I decided to integrate my desires, which was technology and also mental health. So at the end of the uni, I had to do what is called a the capstone project, which is like the master's final project, and I
Yeah.
decided to do it. Uh, Joining technology and mental health, creating a solution to use AI to help the mental health crisis that the world is living now. So I pitched this to my professor, and he was in love with the project. And he said, "You know what? I
Let's do
believe in
it.
I think this is something that can actually be actually a company. This could be profitable, and we can do a good thing." And he was part of something that is called the Sydney Angels Investors. So he knew about entrepreneurship. He knew about like how to get money from investors, how to build a company from scratch, and we created a group. So he had a friend who was a psychiatric. He's a psychiatric. Dr. Savio has 25 years of experience as a psychiatric in Queensland, and he
Okay.
also he was the head of the AI at Torrens University, Melbourne. So we came along like Dr. Kimji, which was my professor, great person about business, great businessman, this AI expert, this psychiatric with 25 years of experience like myself. Someone who didn't have any experience of that, but I was in fire. I was like passionate about this. And we've been working together for over the last, I think it's 18 months on a project called Mindcare. So Mindcare is a
Minecraft.
yeah, Mindcare Pro is a project that we are working on to help the healthcare industry, basically the GPs, to better assess mental health um, appointments when patients come into the GP appointments. So that's a great journey because we are trying to convert something that came as a capstone project from uni to an actual company, and we have had a couple of meetings with people from India on how to actually operate this business and how actually launch this business. I Again, I'm in love with learning, and they knew that I was skilled, but they didn't know I didn't know how to let's say, code. I didn't know how to build a website. He said, like, you are the tech guy. You should know how to do that. I didn't know. And I said, yes, let's do it.
Yes, I do it. Fake
Let's
it until you make it, huh?
Yeah, it was super hard because I had to build two websites and I had to learn Python and data analysis, and I had to come up with so many things and invest in so many hours learning on the go. So he was like, "Let's do something," and there was like YouTube was my best friend at the time. Like I was
YouTube is
spending
one of my best
10
friends.
hours a day learning, watching tutorials, how to do Python, how to do data analysis, how to do this. And I think it's great that the project is still going. We're still working on launching that business.
Mm.
And everything comes from, I believe everything comes from a yes, say yes, even if you don't have the skills. And everything comes from curiosity. You got to be curious about life. You got to be curious about how to solve real problems. Like back in the business of the bikes, I knew that I realized there was an issue, which was students with no jobs and no language skills. And I saw the issue and I wanted to create a solution. So I think once you start paying more attention to your environment, you identify issues and then you come up with a solution. And that solution could be a business.
Exactly. Exactly. Wow, what a journey. And how is that going now?
We're still working on it. I think there's
Okay.
some ethical barriers and hurdles that we're facing in terms of the Australian regulation, like data
Okay.
management, because this is like um, medical data, and we are still like struggling with some things. But it's been a learning journey for all of us, learning how the Australia law works, how we can integrate a tech company like AI. Some people are scared of that into mental health, which is a field that is very personal to personal. But something that we're trying to do is not to replace the mental health professional. No, no, no. We
Yeah.
want to empower them with tools using technology to do a better job.
Yeah. And how to overcome this barrier of some people they don't really like technology, and I am not really sure whether or not the health workers they like technology. I have some friends that they are into health, and they don't really like technology as we do, and they think that people will get the data and use it against them. How are you overcoming this?
So I'm just gonna wait a little bit that the curtains of the office are coming out. Uh,
Okay.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. A
A little bit noisy.
little
That's all right.
bit.
That's that's perfect, right? Um,
Yeah.
so I think technology. Uh, some people are scared of technology because they don't actually know technology. They don't know what
Yeah.
it's about. And I think
Yeah.
something that we all need to do and we all responsible for is to investigate and is to be curious to go further and not take information from TikTok or from Instagram and from or not only from YouTube, but go further and then read
Yeah.
articles
Yeah.
about what technology can do for your life. And something that I realize is technology has made my life easier all the way.
Well, yeah,
Professional,
of course.
personally, like if I have my family in Colombia and I have the capacity to talk to them every single day, having a video call. So even if I'm physically away from them, I'm
Yeah.
emotional with them every single day, every single time. And that is because of the company.
And not only that, like they were your business investors. They were working for you, and they like you have the capacity to send. Well, they had the capacity to send money from Colombia to your bank account, probably in seconds. So technology makes things way easier.
Easier, way
If you
easier.
think back in the days, how would you send money from one country to another?
Yeah, and I think regarding these like two journeys of businesses that I have taken is the first one. It was a purely digital business because I didn't have any physical place. I just do it like online, Facebook and groups and WhatsApp, and that's technology that like I didn't need to invest tons of money on setting up a store. I could do it just from my phone, which is great.
Exactly. That's why. Yeah, some people can run business. Well, technology gives you the opportunity to run business from your room or from your cell phone.
Yeah, and also obviously technology was a very very big part for me because I started to realize the importance of data analysis. I think
Yeah.
data analysis is crucial I saw that in uni, in the master. I saw that in the project of analyzing mental health data to come up with the solutions. And something that happened a couple of years ago is that when COVID hit and the business was going down, I was still doing my master, and I felt like I needed to get professional experience in data analysis, but I didn't have anything at a time. So I remember that I was volunteering for this non-for-profit organization called the Sydney Community Forum, which is what
Okay.
like a group of people who work as a social workers and support workers as well for people who were like having a tough time back then, people who needed support, who was like financially, emotionally, and even like medically struggling. So this group was there to support people. So I joined them as a volunteer, but I needed to do something. I needed to learn. I needed to be part of something social. So I remember that one of the CEO of this organization told me like, we're waiting for we are seeking for someone to build a website because the New South Wales government has granted them like $15,000 to build a website. And I was like, we needed to build this website to create a channel for international students to request help through this website. And then I say, I'll do it. And she said, like, do you know how to build websites? I was like, yes, I know. Yes, of course. And then she said, okay, let's do it. Deal. I was hired that day. Like I signed up all the paperwork.
Okay.
And then I came home and said, oh my God, what have I done? Literally how to build a website. And thanks to technology, I didn't need to be a developer. I didn't need to
Yeah.
be like a web developer. I could use one of these platforms called Webflow. It's kind of a what is the other one? Wix and
Weeks. Yeah.
it's like a couple of platforms. This one was a little bit more intuitive and called Webflow, and I was building this website. And it was not only about building the website; it was about building a website for international students to request help. So as I was an international student and I struggled in the past, I knew what we were looking for. We were looking to be part of a community. We were looking to feel like that we belong, that someone cares about us. So our team and I built this website and start getting inquiries from students who needed help, students who needed food in COVID, students who needed mental health advice, who needed legal advice. People were kicked out of the living spaces, and it was very difficult. But it was beautiful to see how we, as a non-for-profit organization, could connect organizations and students so they could receive the help, and that was
Okay.
through technology. Through
Wow.
technology, yeah.
Yeah, that was tough. Um, and now today you are working with data analysis, are you?
Yes, so I did that. I did that data analysis kind of. Well, I did the website first.
Yeah.
Obviously, after the website was made,
Yeah.
and all the requests from students were coming in, we needed to analyze the data. What are the
Yeah.
most common patterns about international student issues? So I remember that the CEO told me, like, asked me, like, do you know how to do data analysis? We need to come up with a report because New South Wales study has granted us this money to build the website, but we also need to deliver a report for them or what the students' issues are. Yes, of course, I know how to do that. And I say like, I know how to use Power BI, and she was like, fine, let's do it. And again, I didn't know how to use it. Went home, YouTube, how to use Power BI. I already have the data because I was getting all the data from the
Yeah.
website. I
Sure.
like learning hands on, like how
Hands
all
on.
like, everything I needed to real life project. And then we come up with this report that I actually have to present. Like she said to me, I'm going to invite you because you created the report, you created the website. You need to be in the presentation to the New South Wales government. And I
Because you
was,
know how to explain it.
but it was like 2 3 years ago, and at
Yeah.
time my English it was still like I've been learning. Like I haven't learned the language yet,
Yeah,
so
I
I
think
was
that learning a language is a life, long-term
like,
journey.
so I say, okay, maybe my English isn't perfect, but I'm trying my best.
Yeah.
And then I pitched that to the New South Wales government as well. So I explained them how we create the website, the students, the inquiries, the issues that they have, how we analyze the data, and I use Power BI to do that report. So So I presented a report like maps and heat maps and charts and pie charts and line graph and recommendations. These are the students are struggling with food and legal advice in students. And we did like a geographically analysis in Power BI. And we say the city area had more issues about food, but the eastern suburbs had more issues about legal advice or whatever. So it was great because we were actually delivering value. And that's the importance of data. Like data itself doesn't really matter. But if you use data to make wise decisions to improve people's life, that's when it comes really handy.
Okay, that's important. And what type of softwares do you use to do the data analysis?
Obviously, Excel. Excel
Excel.
is my best friend. Excel. Everything can be done in Excel. It's just so much to learn and so much to use in Excel.
I know. Like even if you know 10% of Excel, which is like a lot, you can do a lot. And by the way, I would like to invite my audience to jump on my YouTube channel. And if you are a beginner in Excel, it's gonna be really great for you. And whether or not you are a beginner, if you are already advanced, it's also going to be good for you because in the course, I teach how to analyze data from zero, since the gross data until um, until a dashboard where you just click on a few buttons and then all the graphs and data they change automatically, and then you have a few variables such as years, months, and people, money. So all the data they are working together, and when you have a dashboard where you can just click on the buttons, you can analyze the KPIs and make decisions like this. So yeah, I have a free Excel course on my YouTube channel. Just jump on that course and enjoy it. And not only Excel, Andres, what type of other softwares do you use?
I just want to say that I jump into the channel, I jump into the videos, and you are doing great. Like I work in a tech company now. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. But
Yeah.
and we have dashboards, and what you have built, I think is great. I think your knowledge in Excel is amazing, and I personally recommend your videos and your course. Like definitely,
Thank
recommend.
you.
You can get a lot of good knowledge from that. And
Thank you.
Excel is the number one platform for like a day-to-day analysis, but I also use Power BI and Tableau to do some different analysis and presenting some different dashboards as well. I think it's a matter of how to tell a story with data, right? Like data, graphs, and charts and information doesn't really matter if you don't know how to use it. But if you are able to tell a story that is appealing, convincing, engaging, and backed up with actual facts, I think that's when it becomes really powerful because you can create change with that.
Nice. And do you also use Python?
Yes, Python. I actually use Python to do. We use Python to do the mental health app. How to like what we're doing in there is we have a set of patients analysis, like
Yeah.
400 patients, 500 patients, and the psychiatric has made a diagnosis on these patients. So we do a data set where we train the data to read itself, to learn from itself, and then provide an estimated outcome, or it's kind of predict if this person will develop or not a certain disease. So we use Python for that. We use like neural networks, and we train our system to learn
Okay.
from itself, and then we're trying to improve that to make like better decisions.
Nice. So I would like to announce one thing here. I am also going through VBA and Python trainings, and probably next year I will have free content about how to develop things using VBA on Excel and also Python. Let's go. Now, one thing that I saw on your social media was your podcast,
Yes,
Paciencia. ¿Sí?
yes,
Me
yes.
gusta mucho.
Sí, señor.
Ah, ahorita yo quiero que tú hables un poquito sobre paciencia.
Yes. So paciencia, that's like a combination of two Spanish words, which is
Sí.
paz, peace, and kind of ciencia, which is science, so the science of peace. And
Okay.
I came up with this podcast because I needed to document. I needed about it was like 2 years ago. I needed to start documenting my spiritual, my emotional journey, how I was
Yeah.
learning. Because obviously, I've shared with you and with your audience that I've been hustling to dream to bigger, hustling to build my dreams, to set up like a business and work and learn. But with the hustle, you also need to pay a lot of attention to your mental health because that is crucial. Without your mental health, without you being emotionally healthy and stable, you won't be able to accomplish absolutely anything on the professional side. So I
Exactly.
knew that, I was aware of that. I've been always been very aware and observant of this topic. So I read a lot about psychology, spirituality, mental health, and I decided to take this journey and created a podcast where I was sharing my ideas. So this podcast is great because I think we had this conversation early off the record, but having these recorders and having this podcast in 10 years, you can look back and see everything that we have achieved and how we have been able to transform ourselves, to change ourselves, to improve ourselves and invest, which is our like best investment is in ourselves. So I think that's why everybody should focus on developing a health, mental health, and making sure you are like tapping into yourself and making sure you're fine, taking your time off, giving you time to enjoy life, to be balanced as well. Obviously balance is different for everybody, right? But you got to be very gently with yourself when you're undertaking so many dreams and so many challenges, so it is sustainable. Like my goal is my life to be like a long term hassle, and I want to get a lot of things done, and I want to accomplish things, but I want to do it sustainable. Like I don't want to burn out, and because it happened to me in the past when I was like working, not paying attention to myself, not eating well, not exercising, and it was like I was losing it. I was like a burnout. I was like, "Ah, I don't want to do this anymore."
Yeah, exercise and diet, they are part of your journey. So you
It,
can't leave them aside. You need to set a time to exercise. And well, I'm not the best person to say this now because I'm eating a lot of junk food, but you also need to be disciplined and have get your diet going, and it's for life, right? Otherwise, it's going to impact in your results.
Exactly. And I want to quote Daniel Amen, which is one of my favorite authors. He's a psychiatric in the US, and he has a book called The Mind is Always Listening. And he says something, every time you're going to eat something, every time you're going to do something, every time you're going to drink something, ask yourself, does this thing love me back? Does alcohol love me back? Does junk food love me back? No, they don't. You might love junk food, but junk food don't love you back because it doesn't
Yeah,
good any good for you. So once you
yeah,
start approaching this and saying every time you're gonna put anything into your system, you will say, does it really love me back? And that's what changed my perspective of food. Like I try to eat very healthy. I try to train because I know that it's good for the body, obviously, but it's way good for the mind. You keep your mind clear. You like I try to eat very well, to fast, to do exercise, to meditate, to pray, because I am a believer. I'm Christian, and so I try to integrate like the body, the soul, and the spirit and the mind, all working together as an engine. Like
yeah,
working
yeah.
really, really
And
good
the,
to make sure my life is running the way I want it to run.
mhm. Yeah, that's good. Like, and this thing of doing the work now to see it in 10 years, it's just accepting the process and understanding that nothing that you do today will have results tomorrow, next week, and in 10 years you will just look back and see this episode and say, "Fuck, that was unbelievable. I was going through many things and I made it." Right?
Yes.
Then you're gonna feel proud of yourself. And how is the podcast going? If you can just type the podcast here, then I will share with my audience. I guess the podcast is in Spanish, not in English, right?
Yeah. So the podcast is in Spanish just because it's my mother tongue, and I wanted to be something really personal to share with Like I always thought I want to do this podcast, and I want to give this to my kids as a gift. Like how,
Okay.
like I want to be a dad,
Yeah.
and say 20 years from now, my kids might be struggling in high school or whatever, and they might having some issues, and they can relate to someone who was having issues as well, and he was trying to figure out life and trying to be better, and
Yeah.
no for perfectionist, but with
But
progress.
I think that everybody struggles into like in something in life, but not everybody talks about it.
Yeah, and I think we gotta be really open because something that I've noticed is like we all have issues. We all are battling and wrestling with things in life, and I think that's why we gotta be kind to one another. I think everyone is having a journey, and we gotta support one another and to make it easier. At the end of the day, this is a short time in life, and we all be gone, and let's make it nice for everybody here while we are in this place.
Exactly. Be kind. And jumping to languages now. When you went to China, did you learn Chinese there?
Well, I learned a few words,
Did
and
you?
yeah, I have a really cool story because I remember that I went to the markets. So I learned the word like PAG. PAG means like lower price, like bargaining with the person. I was like trying to get a better price. And I remember that we were laughing with the locals because every time I walked to a store, I wanted to buy something, and there's like I don't know 10 yens or whatever, and it was like PAG PAG, and they was laughing. They were laughing because I was asking them for but a better price in Mandarin. So I think
Okay.
languages are really important because then you can relate to people. Again, I'll connect everything to the relationship that we start with people. Languages is a good skill, but it's the best skill when you use it to connect with somebody and create a meaningful connection. So you can do business, you can do relationships that applies to like your personal and your professional life as well. So it's like everything that you learn, all the tools that you use, try to use it to make better connections with people, which at the end of the day, businesses are not businesses. Businesses are people in business. So
Business
we
are
just
people, yeah.
people to
Well,
people.
yes, exactly. So in the company, you have people working together. Your clients are people. The family of your clients, they are people. So everything is about people.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that I've been working in a tech company. So it was a startup. It was a startup.
Yeah.
Was funded like 4 years ago by two Australians, and now it has like over 40, 35 employees. It's
See,
doing pretty well. Just recently got $5 million investment from like investment company,
lovely.
and this environment of a startup, like learning and technology is like the pacing is really really fast, like
Yeah.
everything that changes every single week, and new priorities and new tasks and new ways, and I love it because it keeps me going, it keeps me learning, it keeps me accountable that I need to learn. And even if I work with technology and developers and platforms and dashboards, and I do trainings on the platforms for my clients, at the end of the day, it comes down to the relationship that I have with my coworkers, the relationship that I have with my superiors, and the relationship that I have with my clients, because we are people to people, even if
Exactly.
technology plays.
Exactly. That's nice. And how many languages do you speak now?
Well, it's only two. I've been trying to learn Portuguese because I want to go to Brazil, and so yeah, it's something that I want to take as a challenge next year to do some Portuguese and go to Brazil.
Good. E fala pra gente quantas palavras em português você sabe.
Meu nombre is Andres. That's it.
That's a mix of Spanish, Portuguese, and English, isn't it?
Obrigado.
Obrigado.
Caipirinha. That's it.
Caipirinha?
Yeah, isn't it Portuguese word?
Yeah, but do you know what that is?
Yeah, it's a beverage, isn't it?
It's a drink, yeah. You're just
Yeah,
learning the good stuff, huh?
of course.
Yeah, good man. Well, I was gonna ask you how technology helps you in life, but I think that you have made it clear. Would you like to add anything else?
I think I want to learn. I want to add that learning is the key, and curiosity is the lead to learn. Is the key to learning. I believe
Curiosity.
we have all the tools we need. Like now with ChatGPT, which I integrate in my day-to-day job, not only to help me to write my emails, but also to analyze information for me, to create scenarios for me, to make me help and maybe be better at my job. I think we all have the capacity, we all have internet access. And with that internet access, we are able to learn whatever we want. So I think that's be curious about your life and be curious about solving problems that you see. And you might end up with a very profitable business if you do that.
Exactly. Well, thanks for sharing that. And we are getting at 1 hour, and I don't want to go over this. But thanks for coming. And I would love. I'm gonna make an announcement here right now. I am working on one course that I will launch next year, which is called budgeting 1.0, which is pretty much for construction workers, whether it's engineers, architects, designers, um, that want to learn how to model a building, how to price a building, how to create the program and analyze the critical path and make good decisions to run the project. So in the course, I go through build information modeling. I go through how to create dashboards in Excel. I go through how to create programs in um, MS Project, and after all of it, we price and I talk about how to sell, how to actually not to sell, how to present it to your client or to your uh, manager, director, or your superior. And my pre-launch will happen in May 2024. Right now, the tickets are really cheap and really cheap. It's only $150. And if you are into this, I would like to invite you to click on the link and just buy the ticket. It's really cheap, and I think that for the information that you are going to get there, $150 doesn't even pay one weekend of pizzas and beverage. So yeah, just join me on May 2024 for the pre-launch, and the course will be finished by October next year, right? So I've decided to take a little bit longer to finish the course because I want to deliver more than what my audience may expect, right? And knowing this, Andres, thanks for coming. It was a pleasure to have you here. Thanks for sharing all this knowledge, all this journey, all of the struggles that you have gone through, and how you did to overcome them, right? Um, I think that it's important always to focus on the solution rather than the problems. Problems will always happen, and if you do not, if you get stuck into them, just don't overthink. Just find a solution and get it over and move on. Yeah, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Would you like to add anything else?
I just want to say that I feel like really proud of yourself. I think you're doing a phenomenal job, Leandro, and I feel like you and I in 10 years will look back and say how proud we are of everything that we have achieved. And just want to say that. And thank you very much for having me in your podcast.
Well, thank you. Thanks for coming. It was a pleasure to have you here. I wish you all the best. Keep doing the great job that you are doing. Man, you've done an amazing job. You are still doing an amazing job, and life is gonna, you know, get back to you with great things.
Yeah, let's be patient and let's keep doing it.
Exactly. Well,
Friend, good to see you, my
thanks.
man.
Thanks. Good to see you. I'm gonna
Bye.
end the stream right now. See ya, everybody, and have a lovely day.
Lovely day.